Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Gonna go over some of the recent headlines. As predicted yesterday, I said there would be an update, something related to the Chinese spy balloon story, because we knew that story was all about 41, and yesterday was the 41st day of the year, and the update came that the U.S. shot down a high altitude object over Alaska. We'll get to what a joke it is. It's more propaganda by the numbers. Also on CNN's front page today, East Palestine, Ohio town is living the plot of a film it helped make. As we talked about, the train derailment was by the numbers, and now we're going to see how it was perfectly synced with the film White Noise that was released, that was filmed in the same town, about a chemical spill. Of course, that's the big storyline with the train derailment, that they had to unleash the chemicals, and as I pointed out, those chemicals were unleashed by the numbers. Several people left a comment, no, this really happened. Didn't say it didn't really happen. I'm just saying it's a planned ritual. Again, everything they do is an agenda. And out of all these things come new laws, new regulations, things that make money for certain people. Could be a new government contract to install some safety device. Again, the point is these things are done on purpose for the sake of an agenda, for the sake of another profit. And what are the odds? The plot of a film that just recently released at the end of 2022. Bill Gates has a new girlfriend, Paula Hurd. And strangely enough, her husband died on the day Event 201 happened. And if you recall, when her husband died, Mark Hurd, I still remember the day. I was in my car. I did the video through my phone. I was waiting for Sweet Lady. She was at a little internship thing. And the news broke that Mark Hurd, the CEO of Oracle, had died. And it was right before the NBA season was about to begin. And the Warriors were going to play in their new stadium they'd been playing in Oracle. And I said, look at this, you guys. His name equals 122, like Golden State equals 122, the team that scores 122 points all the time in their games at a way disproportionate rate. I said, watch, you'll see 122 points in their debut game in San Francisco, the 122 city on the 122nd Meridian. And boom, the very first game, 122 points in the final score after the death of Mark Hurd. But yeah, this is his ex, and now she's with Bill Gates, who was the main co-sponsor of Event 201, and he just happened to die on the same day that took place. Go figure. So we'll talk more about that. We've been talking about the earthquake in Turkey, which is where the biblical Church of Philadelphia was. And now the latest story, sisters that survived 101 hours. Of course, in Gematria, Philadelphia equals 101. It also equals 65. Kind of like how Christian is 101 and so is church, and Christianity is 65. Again, the Church of Philadelphia in the final book of the Revelation, a Christian teaching. But we've been talking about the parallels with the 65th Grammys. Now we got the sisters who survived 101 hours. Again, Philadelphia's in the Super Bowl for the second time in the last 5 years. Both Super Bowl seasons, they began 10-1 like 101. Also, right as the Super Bowl approaches, on the 41st day of the year, we have a dead football player. This news announced yesterday, the 41st day. His name, Kaleb Boateng, Gematria of 41. Talk more about that. And also, another actor dead at a young age, Days of Our Lives actor Cody Longo from the same town that the Columbine shooting happened, dead at 34. And if you're new here, we call that the murder number. In this case, his name, Cody Longo, also has the Gematria 34, and he's dead at 34 with a March 4th birthday, another 3-4 date. But we'll come back to that. Let's start here with the big distraction yesterday, the latest manufactured news by the numbers. Again, as we talked about, spy balloon has Gematria 41, and the spy balloon story started on February 2nd in the headlines, above Montana, the 41st state. And then they said it went to Kansas City after that. That was the next time they covered it. They didn't cover any of its other states it crossed over. They just went from Montana to Kansas City, who's in the Super Bowl. And in the same way, spy balloon equals 41 and 49, so does Super Bowl. And, of course, Joe Montana went from the 49ers to the Chiefs, went from Montana to Kansas City. This ritual coming right before the Super Bowl. And where Montana's the 41st state, Alaska is the 49th state. So now on the 41st day of the year, in a story clearly related to the spy balloon story where Biden didn't shoot it down right away, now he's shooting it down right away in Alaska. Again, from 41st state to 49th state, in Gematria, spy balloon 41 when you run it forwards, 49 when you run it in reverse. And I'm still dumbfounded by why more people in the world aren't sharing this knowledge exponentially in light of how much it reveals every day, in light of the predictive programming, in light of the fact that yours truly is called a million news stories before they happened, a million sports outcomes, elections. I mean, this is the knowledge to see what the federal government is going to do before it does it, because every day it's manufactured propaganda by the code. Again, on the 40th day of the year, they told us that the spy balloons were part of a network that had surveillance in 40 countries. And of course, United States equals 40. CNN's headline was, U.S. says spy balloon part of network in 40 countries. The letters U and S, use the 21st letter, S is the 19th, 40. When you use the alphabetic order with numerology, United States 40. Again, day after day, news by the numbers. The word federal's 39, the day before that. The shooter in El Paso, which equals 23, who killed 23, pleads guilty in 23 on the 39th day of the year. Again, every day, federal government manufacturing stories, propaganda. You know, in the case of the El Paso shooting, if anyone really was hurt there, that's their MK Ultra Manchurian candidate who's now guilty by the numbers. But anyway, coming back to this story, high altitude object with the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order, 179, the 41st prime. So all day, every news network using the terminology, didn't matter if you're watching CNN, Fox, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, they're all on the screen. High altitude object shot down in Alaska. 179, the 41st prime. Kind of reminds me of Patrick Mahomes just because his birthday is 17/9. Just like the governor of Kansas City's birthday is the same. And again, he's Mr. Super Bowl since he's come into the league. He just picked up his 41st home win to advance to the Super Bowl this year. R.I.P. to Len Dawson, who died by the numbers. Kansas City Chiefs 172. Again, Len Dawson dead 172 days before the Super Bowl. Dead on Kobe Bryant Day, who's from Philly. On the 24th, 24 days before Mahomes' birthday, who won his first Super Bowl right after Kobe, number 24, died. Now he faces Jalen Hurts, who's 24 years old. Again, rig news, rig sports, gematria, just let you see right through all of it. So, mark it down for another correct prediction. Like I said, there'll be a big update in the balloon story on the 41st day of the year, and it couldn't be more obvious. That's exactly what this was. Now what are you going to say about Biden? He shot it down right away this time. It's such obvious propaganda. Okay, now the East Palestine oil spill. They said the train derailed February 4th, and we talked about what was significant about that date. And then they let out the chemicals on February 6th, which was the 37th day of the year. We talked about how those same numbers were used in the Turkey earthquake on the same day. Again, Revelation 3:7, the letter to the biblical Philadelphia. The new spelling of Turkey has Gematria 37. Quake equals 26, like 2:6 and 3:7. We've talked about how what they did in Turkey synced up with Kobe's death. Bryant equals 26 and 37. Dead on the 26th on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. Anyhow, look at this. Again, they compare it to this film White Noise, which just released in the U.S. on November 25th, but had its initial release on August 31st. This film's about a chemical spill. It was shot in the same town where the chemical spill now is. And from its initial release, August 31st, to the train derailment, February 4th, was 157 days. Speaking of Kobe Bryant, remember, Kobe Bryant also equals 157. Kobe Bryant also equals 41. Dead at age 41 on his 157th day of his age in a supposed accident. And then, of course, he had the Nike short film with the caption for the film equaling 157, and on the cover there's an exploding helicopter. But anyhow, this happened 157 days, the supposed accident, after the film's release. Set in the same town about a chemical spill. 157 is the 37th prime number. Notice how train equals 37. They let out the chemicals on February 6th, the 37th day of the year. We write February 6th, 26. Train also equals 26. can also write the date 6-2 if you use the alphabetic order. Train equals 62. But the word chemicals also 37. So again, just ask yourself, what are the odds of this being a coincidence? And again, for all the people who came here and left a comment when I covered this last week and said, this is real, like trying to discredit what I'm saying, just stop. Again, you can't discredit my channel. Every day, I'm proving my point. These things are done on purpose. It's just the people who come here and leave those comments, they can't fathom that anybody would be this evil to do these type of things. You need to pull your head out of your ass. The people who rule this nation are that evil and 10 million times worse. Our whole country. I mean, that's why, like, people's heads are so far up their asses. This country that you learned was so great began how? Oh, it began out of a genocide. It began out of a genocide, and it's done what for almost every year of its existence? Oh, it's been killing people with wars, and usually people who are darker complected. You know, the natives were darker complected, and then they built the nation up with slavery with darker complected people, and then we've been killing darker complected people all over the world. You know, some of it brought to our attention, some of it not. You know, we blamed the perfect demolition of the 3 towers on 9/11. 2 planes, but 3 perfect demolitions all on the same day. Buildings 1, 2, and 7, as we called it, the new Pearl Harbor, where Pearl Harbor was on 1, 2, 7. But again, if people would just pull their head out of their ass, they'd be like, oh yeah, this nation is evil as everything. This nation's based on lies, tyranny, murder, war. Maybe they would do this for the sake of more control. And again, like I said, out of this will probably come some new regulation, some new contract. Right now, I'm sure it's already going on. Has anyone looked into see who's getting the cleanup money? Is it another Dick Cheney company? If it's not Dick Cheney, it's probably somebody just like him. Who can forget the oil spill? You know, where just coincidentally, 2 days before the big oil spill in the Gulf, Dick Cheney had just bought the company that got the cleanup contract for several $billion. I mean, and that's not some conspiracy theory. That's something they put in every major newspaper. That was something they talked about in the nightly news. Wow, what are the odds that Dick Cheney had just purchased the company that got the multi-billion-dollar cleanup contract? Again, just being treated like morons every single day. Oh, what a coincidence. They just used this town to film a chemical spill story, white noise. That's why we have this term in our community called predictive programming. These people do things like a ritual, in almost like a fictional way or a simulation, and then they actually do it. I don't understand what the point of knowing gematria is, though. I mean, I can see it without the gematria. For all people leave that comment. Yeah, but can you go, oh, but look, here's another 157 accident, 157 days after the film initially released, the 37th prime, and then the chemicals released on the 37th day of the year? Yeah, but look, I mean, you used 3 ciphers to make the... It's like, yeah. And it would still be astronomically improbable using these 3 ciphers to make this exact point with how perfect this is. Again. Here, let's just bring up Kobe. Let's bring up Kobe, because Kobe's always relevant in the post-Kobe AD era. And let's not forget Kobe released his Kobe After Death shoe in the Big 41 ritual, only to die at 41. And don't forget, years before he died, I wrote a book about him and rig sports in 41. But, again, dead at 41 on the 157th day of his age. And dead on the 41st day of the Pope's age while traveling from Catholic Mass. And, again, the 58 goes with the whole King James. LeBron passed him in his hometown the day before he died, dropping Kobe to 4th in points scored, where 4 is the number of death. 113, the number of the NBA. A gazillion NBA rituals with 113 that we've documented. You know, last month I was talking about how stupid it was, how much they were hyping 2 bottom-dweller NBA teams, selling out a record attendance on January 13th, and how the NBA just worships 113, and it'll even make people celebrate a game of 2 losers, and then there ended up being 113 points in the final score. What else is new? But anyway, Kobe also, if you didn't know, 44 days before his death, he was in the news for helping out with an accident 113 days from his birthday. So, okay, and again, just back to coincidences, Bill Gates' new girlfriend is from the world of big tech, and let's never forget this one too. Bill Gates was the CEO of Microsoft for 33 years. Bill Gates got his COVID jab on his 87th day of his age. Bill Gates, 57's Mr. Jab. And let's not forget that we used understanding that to predict why the Moderna stock would blow up on May 7th as it did. It skyrocketed. Again, we helped at least one woman in this community make $10,000 off that. But on 5/7, and look at this woman's name, Herd, right? Like sheep, like herd the animals, herd the cattle. Herd's also got the 57. So what a lady for old Bill. Shout out to Big Al who tipped me off to this. And then just for other things that are funny about this, people broke this news on February 8th. 2/8 or 8/2, right? And remember, Bill and Melinda got officially divorced on August 2nd. And let's not forget, in my book that came out before they were divorced, I said that they were an arranged marriage. It was clear as day why they were married on the first day of January 1st, 94, 26 years before COVID. As I said, they were an arranged marriage for the planned COVID pandemic. And for anyone who thinks that's dumb, again, I can go a lot deeper into why that was, but my point's already been proven because when they got divorced, it was by the exact same COVID numbers that I pointed out in the book before it happened. But anyway, the thing about them getting divorced on August 2nd and now his new girlfriend on February 8th, both dates that can be written 8/2, Seattle equals 82, right? He's Mr. Seattle. COVID's also 82. It's also 28, like February 8th can be written 2/8. COVID's also 26, like virus, like plague, like China, like their arranged marriage 26 years before it happened. And then with regards to getting married in 94, coronavirus pandemic's 94, and so is Seattle, Washington, who won its only Super Bowl in the 94th NFL season. And then Russell Wilson's grandpa died at 94, like how Bill Gates' dad died at 94, like how his mom died in the year 94. And then Kurt Cobain, the biggest star in Seattle, died in 94. And then Bill Gates became the biggest star in Seattle later that year. Not to mention Kurt Cobain died 206 days before Bill Gates' birthday. And that's the Seattle area code 206, and the word sacrifice is 206 in Jewish gematria. But anyhow, the day that this news also broke was a date with 53 numerology, and notice COVID's also 53. So the date could be written 8/2 or 2/8, 53 date numerology. Again, not a coincidence. Not a coincidence at all. The news broke on the 39th day of the year. Paula Herd, 39. I could get into the 102 as well because that's another huge number with COVID and Russia-Ukraine and 9/11 and how all these things are connected through the Jesuit tactic of art of war. But we've talked about it too many times, and those are the main points. It was also 103 days after Bill Gates' birthday that the news broke. Almost seems like they should have done 102 days, but we know that's another number with the Jesuits. So anyhow. Paula Herd, the new girlfriend, and again, Mark Herd, her ex who died. He died, I covered this the day of, October 18th, 2019. But that's the day of the Event 201 coronavirus pandemic simulation. Go figure. William Henry Gates, 201. That's Bill Gates' full name, if you guys are new here. William Henry Gates, 201. The Jesuit Order, 201. Ignatius Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, 201. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. Her husband was the CEO of Oracle, which is 54, like Jesuit Order, for the record. A lot of 54 rituals back in the time the Warriors played in Oracle. You might recall their record 54-game home winning streak. But okay, we covered the sisters surviving for 101 hours in biblical Philadelphia. Again, that's a big Philadelphia number. With regards to the Florida Gators player being announced dead on the 41st day of the year, again, Kaleb Boateng, and notice, 41, right? Save it for the 41st day of the year, big football death right before the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 41. Florida, the state that's hosted the majority of Super Bowls in NFL history. They did announce it yesterday, the team. They said he died the day before, February 9th, and big football number. Football 29, just like Ohio, the birthplace of football is Ohio. Last year on Odell Beckham's 29th birthday, he got shipped from Cleveland to LA, like how the Rams are originally from Cleveland. And that was for the year of Super Bowl 56, Odell Beckham Jr. 56. He got traded on his birthday, November 5th, the day leaving 56 days left in the year, which is why we said he would score the first touchdown of Super Bowl 56, which paid 9-1, which again is the value of the knowledge. You know, you didn't have to live in suspense through the whole game. You already paid right at the beginning, right when he scored. 9-1, boom. Anxiety for the game over. And it's amazing how many losers have made a video saying we had a bad Super Bowl last year. It's like, okay, we said it'd be a 3-point game. It was, and we had Odell Beckham to score. In what world is that a bad outcome for the Super Bowl? Okay. Something we do year after year. And for the record, he did wear number 56. I also saw pictures of him in a number 50 jersey as well. But 56 is like Society of Jesus, Black Lives Matter, Black Power. Here we are in Black History Month. And the news was announced yesterday, which was the 46-year anniversary of the federal government recognizing Black History Month. And again, that was in 76, slave 76, like Barack Obama, like Acts 7:6, about 400 years of slavery, which is the 44th book of the Bible. Again, Negro 76, Blue 76, Rasta 76. But again, slave 76, slavery 102. The federal government first recognized Black History Month on 10/2 in the year 76. Now here's this dead man who is black at a very young age, and again, right before the Super Bowl. So, Cody Longo, dead at 34. Top headline last night, this morning on CNN. And again, if you're new here, murder 34, suicide 34, shows up all the time. His name, Cody Longo, 34. And from reading what they had reported last night, it was kind of making it seem like they were making it seem like it was a suicide. You see how his name's 47 and 34? So is suicide, 47, 34. But yeah, from the same town that Columbine happened, more government propaganda by the numbers, where again the hijackers supposedly journaled that they wanted to hijack planes and fly them into skyscrapers in New York, and one of their birthdays was 9/11. If I remember right, that's Dylan Klebold. Let me double check. Was it Dylan with the 9/11 birthday? Yeah, it was. Born 9/11/81. Would have turned 20 years old on September 11th. Number of death. But yeah, 3/4 birthday, dead at 34. And the name of the show that he's on, Days of Our Lives, Gematria, just like Society of Jesus in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. From Colorado. Colorado's got the Gematria 83 and 38, like the word murder. And also just the whole 34 thing in the Society of Jesus. Jesus does have that Gematria 34 as well. Jesus. Life end in a murder by the state, capital punishment. Again, show business, it happens so much. And then also a dead rapper yesterday. Dead at 35. We've talked about this number many times with dead rappers. Rap is 35 for the record. So is the word Svengali, which has to do with evil in the entertainment industry. Satan has that 35. Baphomet has that 35. But again, rap 35 and the whole 102 thing, slavery 102. He's a South African rapper. Last year, we predicted why Ben Simmons would be traded on 10/2 in the 76ers trade ritual. And light out all the 102s with him in tribute to slavery. Exactly what they ended up doing. He's actually from Australia, but again, all these places are colonized by the English. We're talking about this English Gematria code. But notice he died right after his birthday, born January 28th. He died 13 days after his birthday. His rap name is AKA 13. Run it in reverse, 23. Dead in 23. And, just the 10/2 thing. Also, we just talked about the 2 Demetriuses who played for Michigan and Ohio State who died last week. Young black men, college athletes, former college athletes, both of them with the 96 connection and the 96 mentioned in the article. Notice this man also has the 96 in his birth name. The AKA rapper was born Kiernan Jared Forbes, 96. 96 has the direct connection to 42. The number 42, the divisors of 42, sum to 96. Words like knowledge are 96 and 42. Freemason, Satanism has the 96. If you use the rule with S, it's also 42. But again, knowledge, 9642. The word math's 42. But 42 is the number all over Black history. February, I can't type. February 42 and 96. And, slavery, Tuskegee, the list goes on. N-word, whole lot of words. So that's where we're seeing a lot of black men dead this month with a 96 connection. But that number does factor right back to 42. And for the record, Black history also has the gematria of 181, which is the 42nd prime number. But yeah, those are the headlines that caught my attention, and it looks like those are still mostly the top headlines. Ohio town is living the plot of a film. We just covered that. What we know about the unidentified object shot down over Alaska. It's too bad we can't get our information as the top headline on CNN. That might actually change the world. The truth behind the He Gets Us ads for Jesus airing during the Super Bowl. Notice the emphasis on He Gets Us. He Gets Us. 112. Super Bowl. 112. Chiefs. 112. The Niners and the Chiefs played each other 112 days before the Super Bowl this year. Of course, those are Montana's two teams. And interestingly enough, one of the two teams can pick up the 112th win against the opposite conference. The last time the Chiefs did win the Super Bowl, it was the HBO show Ballers. The Rock is the star of that show. In the last episode of the show, which was 112 days before the Super Bowl, The Rock buys the Chiefs in the show. And that Super Bowl was in Miami, where The Rock played college football. But yeah, the truth behind the He Gets Us ads for Jesus airing during the Super Bowl. Let's see what CNN had to say about this. Let's see what CNN's truth is. In between star-studded advertisements and a whole lot of football, this year's Super Bowl watchers are being taken to church. He Gets Us, a campaign to promote Jesus and Christianity, is running 2 ads during the game as part of a staggering $100 million media investment. It's amazing how much money there is behind the name Jesus. To many, the spots will be nothing new. He Gets Us content has been peppering TV screens, billboards, and social media feeds since a national launch in 2022. The campaign is arresting, portraying the pivotal figure of Christianity as an immigrant, a refugee, a radical, an activist for women's rights, and a bulwark against racial injustice and political corruption. The He Gets Us website features content about the moment, of the moment topics like artificial intelligence and social justice. Whatever you are facing, Jesus faced it too, the campaign claims. It's getting noticed. One of the campaign's videos, titled The Rebel, has netted 122 million views on YouTube in 11 months. Well, those are some football numbers right there. For the record, Kansas City does have the 122 connection as well. But National Football League has the 122. Talked about a number of NFL players over the years killed in 122 rituals. Remember Satanic's 122, like San Francisco, where the Church of Satan was established on the 122nd meridian. Like Bill Gates getting his jab on 122 on the 122nd meridian. But of course, 11 men on each team on the field. So again, just these numbers that they insert in the story for the point about the ad for the Super Bowl, or the 2 ads, $50 million apiece. The campaign is a natural fit with the NFL, whose games have long contained symbols of religion. Players often pray on the field and point to the heavens after touchdowns. So they show us Mahomes on a knee. For the record, just showing Mahomes in this Jesus-related article, Mahomes in the most simple ciphers, 74. It's also 34 like Jesus. Jesus 74, 34, Cross 74, Messiah 74, Gospel 74, Parables 74. Mahomes comes into this game with 74 career wins, and he got his 41st home win to advance. So again, it's probably not an accident that this ad's playing, or any of these numbers are mentioned, or that's who they show in the ad. They also have a picture from January 29th down below the caption. January 29th. Again, Mahomes. Football's on Sunday. But certain details about the He Gets Us ads have set off alarm bells among young people and those skeptical of religion, two groups the campaign is specifically to attract. Some of the campaign's major donors and its holding company have ties to conservative political aims and far-right ideologies that appear at odds with the campaign's inclusive messaging. The campaign has connections to anti-LGBT and anti-abortion laws. The chain of influence behind He Gets Us can be followed through public records and information on the campaign's own site. The campaign is a subsidiary of the Servant Foundation, also known as the Signatory. So they're trying to argue that because they're saying they're about women's rights, that they're in contradiction because they don't support abortion or LGBT. Traditionally, women's rights was, about women having the same rights as men. The right to work, the right to vote. It wasn't about sexual preference, and it wasn't about abortion either. So I don't think that's a true argument. Anyhow, according to research compiled by Jacobin, a left-leaning news outlet, the Servant Foundation has donated tens of millions to the Alliance Defending Freedom, a conservative Christian legal group. The ADF has been involved in several legislative pushes to curtail LGBTQ rights and quash non-discrimination legislation in the Supreme Court. Yeah, again, this could be a debate about, well, are the other things also women's rights? Again, I suppose it's the traditional women's rights versus what are the more modern rights of individuals. A new modern right is to identify as whatever you want to identify as. Okay. But yeah, and I'm not trying to take sides on this. Again, what I really want people to think about is how there's $100 million to advertise for Jesus. Like, are any of the things that will be advertised in the Super Bowl going to be beneficial to your life? It'll be mostly junk food, soda, beer, a new vehicle you probably don't need, and now Jesus. Do any of those things help out with your life? Again, you know where I stand on that. I think spirituality is important, but is there a middleman to God? Is believing in a story that there's no proof of, does that help anyone out, or is it just like a blankie for somebody? I don't like this world, and believing in this thing gives me comfort. Because you'll hear a lot of people say that. Believing in Jesus. I mean, look how people come here and leave comments. What's the point of knowing knowledge? All you got to know is Jesus. It's like, oh, okay. Jesus has been helping out in the world in my lifetime a whole lot. Not. Jesus is the thing that's got everybody not doing anything. Waiting around. On the knees, waiting around. Waiting around for a savior instead of looking within and saying, maybe I could help fix the mess we're in. I wish I could have a snap of my fingers, just like in a backdrop, the gazillion comments that have been left the 10 years I've been here about how Jesus is about to appear any day and fix everything. Like, have any of these people changed their mind? Like 10 gazillion incorrect comments. And it's been going on for a lot longer than that. The Jesus is about to save us any day, people. How about this right here? Just scrolling through. Look at what year they go to. The 1974 Lausanne Covenant is an important unifying document in evangelical Christian churches, while the Lausanne movement itself was started by the prominent evangelical Christian leader Billy Graham. And you know what's funny? If you turn on Fox News, they seem to only have 3 advertisers. They have Balance of Nature, which comes with a Star of David on it. They have Billy Graham's son, and they have Mike Lindell, who's got the best pillows that are about to sell out at any moment, so order right now. And he's going to prove that with the next 50 advertisements during Tucker Carlson. And then what I love about it is like 3 months later, it's the same ad, and he's saying the best deal ever, but the product's like $30 more than it was 3 months. It's just like, God, is this guy the biggest scammer there ever was? Who's buying this guy's crap? My $80 pillow is the best pillow you'll ever have. I believe in Jesus. And that's how all of them are on there too. Oh, man. Can't see that all of these people are frauds. They all claim, and again, I mean, claiming Jesus is a big money-making tool. Look at all these scammers online on YouTube that are just like totally fraudulent pieces of shit, like the Jim Bobs of the world, but then they say they believe in Jesus and they get all kind of super chat donations, you know? You say Jesus, it just sucks all the money in, you know? Jesus is a huge money grabber. It's all part of the cultural programming. You gotta love that, though. Billy Graham, and I wonder why they started the Jesus thing in 74, you know? Wonder why they got the picture of Mahomes, who comes in on 74 career wins. In a way, though, to give credit to Fox News, part of the reason they're down to only having 3 advertisers is because they attack Pfizer so much, which I do appreciate. I do appreciate that. It's just they lost all the pharmaceutical marketing, which lives on MSNBC and CNN. So if I have to say what marketing I prefer, I you know, even though Fox News has the 3, you know, I'm going to use Jesus to sell products, people, it's still better than Pfizer. Pfizer, who sponsors the Sam Smith satanic celebration as Turkey gets rocked in a synagogue of Satan tribute. But, yeah, there might be more in this article. About 63% of American adults identify as Christian in 2022. Must go with the NFL season. It's the Chiefs' 63rd season. It's a huge percentage of the league's 63rd season. A lot of teams came into the league 63 years ago. If you went through the NFL and looked at all 32 teams, you'd see the majority of them are in their 63rd season this year. Big expansion year for the NFL. All right, but yeah, I might have to document some of the things in this article too. News by the numbers, doesn't matter if it's about Jesus or anything else. Okay, yeah. I think we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. If you want to join us, we're going to start the NFL live stream in about 40-some minutes. It'll be noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. And yeah. All right. Have a great rest of your day, Truth Seeker. Oh, by the way, RPM Trey Vietnam, he's supposed to do a live stream today that could be pretty interesting. Shout out to Clarence. Clarence chipped in $3 on the Cash App. I do appreciate that. And also, on my website, for whatever reason, I think it's something YouTube did. It's funny, on my own website, if I link my video, it doesn't work, but any other YouTube video will work. They're trying to fix the problem right now, so hopefully that gets fixed, in case you were aware of that problem. All right, that's it for now, True Seeker. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time.